Well, I got a 4K right here, I've got a 4K right here, and me right in the middle. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Mid-Level Media Channel, your hub for everything physical media and entertainment. We are here today, guys. Look, let's just get right into it. We're talking about a fistful of dollars, the new 4K from Arrow Video. That is, guys, I do want to let you guys know this. There's a lot of information in this video that I want to let you guys know. That's why we're doing the review, right? But this is a UK only release. So you can only purchase this from Arrow Video UK. Also, it's on Diabolic, it's on Orbit. It might be on Amazon UK as well. Pretty sure that it is. I think that most of the Arrow releases are on there. But I want to let you guys know that if you're in the States, you do have to import this title from a variety of sites. There's multiple sources to get this from. But I did want to let you guys know that. And there's other stuff that goes into that. It being a UK release, if you're in the US, that again, we're going to get into in this review. But yeah, guys, A Fistful of Dollars, one of my favorite movies. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys right here. Completely honest, okay? I didn't grow up with the film. I'm not going to claim that I'm a lifelong fan of A Fistful of Dollars. I was very late to the Western genre. I never really wanted to watch them when I was younger, my 20s, my early 30s. I didn't get into them until my mid 30s, which was about 3 or 4 years ago now, that I really got into Westerns. And one of the first ones that I watched were the Dollars trilogy, and I just fell in love. And I mean, like, these movies are now so important to me. I cannot wait for a few dollars more from Arrow Video, the good, the bad, the ugly. And can I just say, I'm so happy that Arrow Video decided to give them all like individual box set treatment, because I think each one of them deserve it. You know, I think you would have done a disservice to like the trilogy or the movies themselves had you just lumped them all in together, because they really are like they do stand on their own. They really do stand on their own as like some of the most important movies in cinematic history. So glad that they're getting their individual treatment as well. But yeah, I didn't want to get on here and be like, oh, I've loved the Fistful of Dollars for 20 years. I know the entire home video history. I had it on VHS, DVD, all that, because that's not the case. What I am going to be able to do in this video is, because I did purchase the 4K of A Fistful of Dollars back in 2022, I will be able to compare it to this 4K release. I also purchased the Blu-ray edition of A Fistful of Dollars, I think back in 2021, right before the 4K got announced. So, and there's differences between all of these releases, so we can get into that a little bit in the comparison. But as far as like going back to the DVD, I don't own the DVD, I don't own the VHS, I don't know the entire home video history of A Fistful of Dollars. And I know for some people that's like a fan of this and they're going to get this box set, they're lifelong fans of the franchise. So I just wanted to kind of let you guys know going in my perspective. But I do love these movies, especially this movie. This is my favorite. This is the one that I've returned to the most. I think The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, and for a few dollars more, I've seen twice. This one I've seen now probably 6 or 7 times. It's just my favorite of the three. But before we get into talking about it, guys, look, I like to just have conversations, okay? These aren't like quick jump cut reviews. I know people will comment down below, Ken, why do you take so long to get to? We just want to know how the transfer is, okay? How's it compared to Kino? That's not how we do things around here, guys. We take you through all aspects of the release. I have a conversation with you. I like talking about the movies themselves. I like talking about the releases just kind of in depth, in a very comprehensive way. So if you're not down with that, then go ahead and get out of here. Just kidding. Please stay. Please stay. I just hope you enjoy, what I have to say. But hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, comment down below. What's your thoughts on A Fistful of Dollars? Am I the only one out there that this is my favorite of the trilogy? I get it. The other ones go bigger and they go harder and they arguably go better. But this one, I don't know. I just enjoy the simplicity of it. And I don't know, there's just something about this one that is just truly special to me. But let me know, like, what's your favorite of the trilogy? Is this your favorite of the trilogy? In the comments section below. Let's talk about the movie for a little bit. Now, the movie at this point, guys, is over 60 years old. This movie is 61 years old. That is incredible to think about. And the movie is still like so good. Like today, that's what's so incredible about it. It still holds up. Like I can imagine that it holds up just as well today in 2025 that it did back in 1964 when people got to see it. Now, it didn't get to the US until 1967, which I think is actually kind of interesting because the other two sequels came out before that. So I wonder if they all came over at the same time because I didn't get into those details. I read a little bit of the booklet in here, guys, to try to learn as much as I can. But this movie came out 1964, directed by Sergio Leone. And look, I mean, the movie itself, in my opinion, is a masterpiece. And it's not a masterpiece in storytelling, but it is a masterpiece because you can say this is more than just a Clint Eastwood movie. You know, I just reviewed Dirty Harry, Pale Rider, Outlaw Josie Wells. You can call those Clint Eastwood movies. What this is really a collaboration between like three masters or future masters, current masters of cinema. I mean, you have a collaboration between Clint Eastwood, who was really in nothing before this. He was in a TV show called Rawhide. He was almost done with acting before he got cast in this. You have the director Sergio Leone, who did a couple of films before this, a couple of Italian films, which I have not seen those. This is the one that really put him on the map. Just kind of really laying it all out there and just establishing himself in the landscape of cinema and just becoming a future legend with this film. Then you have the composer Ennio Morricone, who would go on to become a legend as well, just composing so many of the most iconic scores of all time. And maybe the most iconic with this one, and for a few dollars more. And The Good, the Bad, the Ugly is probably his most iconic. I mean, the song of The Good, Bad, the Ugly, like I've heard like throughout my entire life, even before I knew what these movies were, like I knew that song. So it's really collaboration between like three just incredibly gifted performers and artists just kind of coming together to really create this like perfect combination of cinematic goodness. And it really is like the three of those cornerstones that make this movie as special as it is. And this is really just it's a landmark like cinematic achievement. And you could say it's the start of the spaghetti western. There were Italian westerns before this movie, but it really is the start of spaghetti westerns like as you would know them in the late 60s and the 70s. Like the spaghetti westerns before this, I don't even know if I've seen any of them, but I don't think they had the same kind of style that Leone brought to this one. So stylistically, I think that this movie kind of changed the game. Even though there were spaghetti westerns, Italian westerns before this, this one really kind of changed everything, just in terms of how Sergio shot the film, how he kind of constructed the scenes. Like, there are just some iconic shots in this film, the way he moves the camera, the way he directs things. That would just have such an effect on everything that would come out. It would be so influential on so many different filmmakers because not only like could you say is this the start of the spaghetti western, but you could also say this is the start of like more modern filmmaking. Like there is so much that like filmmakers would take from this movie and carry it like through decades to come that it's really incredible when you think about it. Like that's one of the reasons why I just think that this movie is so incredibly special and maybe potentially just kind of overlooked in the trilogy because it really lays the groundwork for everything. Like without this, you're not getting for a few dollars more. You're not getting The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. You're not getting Once Upon a Time in the West. You're not getting just all the other slew of spaghetti westerns without this. Like this really just kind of laid the groundwork for everything. The way he used Morricone's score to kind of help tell the story, to kind of help edit the film. Like it was really a landmark achievement at the time. And I mean, really just so, what am I trying to say? Innovational. With what he did here with the music and how he edited it, how he used it to tell the story. Like nobody had really done that like Leone did with this film. Like before this, like they used music in films and music was important, but it was more like background noise. Like he really brought the music front and center in this film as a way to tell the story. And the music is just as important as the direction, as the story itself, as Clint Eastwood and his iconic performance. Right from the opening credits, when you see the silhouettes in the red and the black and stuff in the title screen, which was so like different at the time as well. So groundbreaking in itself, the way he introduces this movie in this world. This movie is the start of so many things. It is the start of a legendary career of Clint Eastwood. Like where would Hollywood be at this point without Clint Eastwood? Like he is so incredibly important to the landscape of Hollywood. He started in this movie. He became a star with this movie right here. Sergio Leone became a star with this movie right here. Ennio Morricone, they all became stars like with this film and will go on to inspire and influence just all of movies, like for decades to come. This movie is so incredibly important. But you have Clint Eastwood. He's basically the man with no name. He's the stranger. He now his name in the titles, or the cast list is called Joe, even though nobody really calls him Joe. I don't think anybody calls him Joe in the movie. Maybe they do. But he's basically the stranger. He's the lone gunslinger that just kind of rides into town. You don't know his motivations. You don't know why he's there, but you quickly discover that his motivation is money. Like most people, most people's motivation is money. You had these two gangs, these two factions in this small like village town in the West. You got the Baxters, you got the Rojos, and he kind of plays them both against each other to profit and make as much money as he possibly can. So but the thing I like about this movie is they do paint him as the kind of anti-hero, and this was kind of the start of the anti-hero character, but he does have empathy for people. And there are moments in this film where he's not all about himself. He does try to help people that are definitely victims of this war that's going on in the town. That's why I like it, because his character is very complex. It's not just an anti-hero. He's not just a dick the entire movie. He does try to help people. And I like that about his character. I think it adds some nice layers to the character. But at the end of the day, he is out for himself as well. So the story's kind of basic. It's kind of simpler. There's a lot of great moments though, guys. The movie is really all about the direction, about the cinematography, about some of those moments. I mean, the whole like sequence where the whole shootout on the beach is incredible, where you got Ramon just kind of taking everybody out, just the way they set everything up. But the movie's incredible. It's got a lot of grits. It's got a lot of really gruesome, like brutal scenes. Like nobody had really seen a Western like this brutal before, just showcasing blood and violence the way that they do in this movie. That's another thing that they really brought to the Western at this time, which is why a lot of more traditional Hollywood people that were into more traditional Hollywood Westerns, specifically one of the biggest stars of all time, John Wayne, he did not like this style of Western because he just thought it was perversion of the genre. This movie is so damn good. I don't know. I really enjoy watching it. I could watch it again. I literally could go watch it again right now. I like it that much. I just think everything about it is perfect. Let's get into the restoration, guys, right here, because there's been controversy with this. And the important thing that I want to get into here is there are people out there that bought the Kino 4K back in 2022, and they're wondering to themselves, do I get the Arrow 4K? Is this a better version of this movie on 4K? Do I need this? And one thing I'll say is this has new features, so there are new stuff in here. We'll get to that here in a second, but there is new stuff here to dig into. But if you're just basing like, should I get this on the restoration itself? I really want to dive into like, is this worth getting on the restoration alone? So first off, if you go back to the Blu-ray, there was a 4K restoration that was done. I forget the name of the company. I want to say back in the early 2010s, and I think they used that restoration for this Blu-ray right here. That was pretty controversial because of the way that they colored stuff. It was really like, pukey greens and yellows and stuff, and it just didn't make things look as natural as I'm sure it was back in the 60s when they filmed this. So a lot of people weren't fans of that. And I don't think there was a lot of fans of this Blu-ray right here. But Kino Lorber actually went in and worked on the colors and did a new color grading for this 4K. They did not utilize HDR. They did not utilize Dolby Vision. This does have HDR. This does have Dolby Vision. But what I can say, guys, this is on a 100 gigabyte disc. This is on a 100 gigabyte disc as well. So if you're talking about just how it runs and the overall like clarity and the bit rate, they're very similar. I found this to be an extremely like sharp picture quality, crystal clear image, and I found this to be the same. There are differences with the Dolby Vision and the HDR, but overall, just as far as clarity and sharpness and just how it looking good in 4K, I think they're pretty close. I mean, I think that this looks really good on 4K, and I just watched it recently. I mean, I watched it again to kind of compare it, but I watched this a couple of months ago, I think back in March, and I was like, this is a really good 4K. Like, there's really nothing wrong with this 4K at all. It's solid. Again, it doesn't have the HDR and the Dolby Vision. We'll get into the importance of that here in a second, but it's a solid 4K. I don't think, there was much criticism either when it came out, and they did fix a lot of the color issues that were present on this Blu-ray and some of the past releases of A Fistful of Dollars. So, if 4K wise with the Kino Lorber, I think it's a solid 4K. Now getting into this 4K, like I said, as far as like the overall clarity and the picture quality and how you can see stuff and the detail, again, it's very similar to the Kino Lorber, but there is incredible detail. The up close shots, because Sergio Leone really kind of, he kind of invented these like really like stylistic, like up close shots. But when you get those shots of like Clint Eastwood's eyes and people's like faces up close, you can really notice some incredible detail. Really notice some incredible detail, like so the bristles and stuff on Clint Eastwood's face, the ruggedness of his face, all the little hair follicles, the outfits, the poncho, the iconic poncho, the colors really pop. You can notice so many incredible details. See the fibers on there. Like there's just some fantastic detail with this. But with the addition of the HDR and the Dolby Vision, the one plus I can give this over the Kino is I just like, the HDR application, the Dolby Vision. I like things a little bit more darker. I think it reduces it and makes it more feel a little bit more natural to where it would have actually looked back when they filmed it back in the day. I don't know. There's just something about when something doesn't have HDR, it feels a little bit too flat. It feels a little bit too bright, a little bit too vivid. Not that there's not some really vivid colors in this. I think HDR really enhances some of the colors with this as well. But I like HDR and Dolby Vision because it really it feels like it just kind of takes things back to a more naturalistic state. Incredible, grain structure here as well. There's a good amount of grain, guys. It's not overpowering, but it is enough to remind you that you are watching a film from the 60s. And what I think the HDR and the Dolby Vision does to kind of improve what the Kino Lorber 4K did is with some of those nighttime scenes. I think the nighttime scenes look a little bit more natural, a little bit more realistic. Whereas in the Kino 4K, things are just a little bit too bright. Like, yeah, maybe the moon's out, but like some of the faces when they show them, in particular when he's saving the family, Marisol and her husband and her kid, it kind of feels like the moon's a little bit unnatural, like it's a little bit too bright, just kind of how it shines and reflects off their faces. Their faces look a little bit too white. I think that problem is solved with the HDR and the Dolby Vision. It's not a huge, change or anything. It's not a huge issue like with the Kino 4K. But it is an improvement, I think. It looks a little bit more natural, the shadows and just the black levels and how the whites are shown and the blacks are shown with that HDR. I just think the contrast is a little bit better with those colors. And I think in the nighttime scenes, you can make stuff out just a little bit better. I think there is a little bit more depth there with some of those scenes. But as far as like the overall like color grading, again, you notice that things are darker, but I didn't find there to be much difference as far as the colors themselves. I found them pretty comparable. Like the reds and the bloods and the outfits and all that stuff look just as good on this 4K as they do on this 4K. It's not like this just makes everything pop so much more than the Kino 4K because it has the HDR and the Dolby Vision. I think the HDR, the Dolby Vision makes things a lot darker and kind of, again, adds that depth and maybe just a little bit more clarity in those nighttime scenes. But I don't think they make the colors pop that much more in this than they do with the Kino Lorber 4K. But that's just my perspective, guys. I want to make sure you guys know this because I don't want to get on here and be like, oh my God, this is such a fantastic 4K. So much better than this Kino 4K. You got to get it. I want to be honest with you guys. Now, like I said, one of my favorite movies now. So like I was going to get this box set regardless just for the awesome packaging, which we'll get to in a second. I just like having a really like awesome limited edition of A Fistful of Dollars. And that's clearly better than the Kino version. But like if you're buying this just strictly based on picture quality and you think the Dolby Vision, the HDR is going to enhance the picture so much, it really doesn't. Like I really find these to be pretty comparable. Like if you enjoy this on 4K, I really don't think you need to get this 4K. Like if you're just concerned with the picture quality alone. Getting into the sound, it's got all the same sound as the past releases. It's got the 1.0, it's got the original mono, it's got the 5.1. At some point, there was I think work that was done on the audio, and that might have been, back in the day with this Kino Blu-ray. Maybe they reworked it a little bit because I think they noted that. There's a nice booklet in here, guys, that goes through the details of the restoration. Maybe I should have kind of went through that. I can flip to that page right now, maybe show it off for you guys instead of me just reading it all for the sake of time. You guys can just check out the details right there. And I think they're citing that there was some work done on the sound here, but it's kind of confusing sometimes when you're going through these about the presentations. As far as the audio, guys, it sounds fantastic. I listened to it on the 5.1. And I mean, this movie's got some incredible like gun battle sequences that just sound great. You got the bullets that just kind of, bouncing off of surfaces, ricocheting and stuff, stuff like the whole ending sequence, like when Clint walks out and they're shooting him with a bulletproof vest. So incredible. And the sound is amazing, just how it kind of bounces off stuff and just really just puts you in that moment. It just really puts you in that moment. So sound wise, no issues there. Now getting into the packaging right here, guys. Like I said, I did an unboxing on a live stream the other night. My only issue is I still don't love the Clint Eastwood name at the top. Maybe I'll grow to love it, but to me, like it just reminds me of that 4K banner, and I just don't think the 4K banner has any place on a box set. Like on an actual, case itself, that's fine, or a slipcover, that's fine. But on a box set, I'd rather it just be pure artwork. So I think that kind of takes away from the artwork. But the artwork itself is great. You got Clint smoking a cigarette right there. You got the noose behind him, a fistful of dollars. I love this side. I mean, these are going to look so good together. Like when we have all three of them on the shelf, it's going to look so good. On the back right here, guys, you got tons of information about what's included here. And you got the synopsis. You got all the specs down there at the bottom if you want to check that out. You take it out. Now, this isn't a slip cover, and underneath you got the box set, which has a little bit more muted colors. The slip cover is, a little bit more glossy. When you take that off, it's more of a matte finish on the actual box itself, which has kind of always been the case, with Aero Video. You got the spine right there. You got some nice artwork on the back. Some of the Rojos right there. You got Ramon with the gun. I don't know what do you call it? Machine gun, Gatling. I know it's not a Gatling gun, but it's something. I cannot remember the name of that. That's an awesome sequence. I love it. Then you take it out. You got the case right here with some original artwork on it as well. You flip that to the back. You still got the information. I do like how the white looks on this. I think that's pretty damn good. Pretty damn good artwork. On the inside, you got 2 discs, which we're going to get into the features here in a second, but you have a 4K with the film on it and the audio commentaries. And then the Blu-ray has all of the special features. Now, one important thing to note, guys, again, this is what we're going to get into. This Blu-ray is region locked. Okay, this is a region B Blu-ray. So if you're in the UK, you're fine. But if you're in the States, you're going to need a region-free player to play these special features because all the special features are on this disc right here. So I think that's a very important thing that you guys need to know with this release. So you got the disc art right there. You also got reversible cover art, which is cool. Look at that. The original poster is just so damn good, guys. Oh my God, it's so damn good. But speaking of the poster, you have a double-sided poster in here as well. A good-sized poster as well. With the original poster, which like I said, is so damn good. And then you got that newly commissioned artwork on the back as well, which is equally as good. I mean, it's badass artwork. Then you got this booklet right here, which has a lot of essays on this movie. It's got the restoration details. It's got the full cast and everybody that worked on the movie inside. I think there's something like 4 essays by different people in here, just kind of talking about the history and the importance of this movie, which there's just so much to dive into. I read one of the essays and I was trying to read a little bit of the other ones. I think there's an essay in here about the score. The box set is incredible, guys. I mean, it's the standard Aero Video box set. I mean, nothing too special about it, but I just love that we got treatment like this for one of the best movies of all time, for one of the best boutique labels of all time, Aero Video. Getting into the special features. Now, this does have all the special features that were, that were put out through the Kino Lorber release back in the day. And I think that there was a couple of new audio commentaries here. There was an audio commentary by novelist critic Tim Lucas. There was an audio commentary by film historian Sir Christopher Frayling. And I think that those were new to possibly the Blu-ray back in the day, not necessarily the 4K. I don't think anything was new to this 4K when it came out. So we'll say new to this Blu-ray that came out. Another thing I think that was new was the interview with actress Marion Koch, who plays Marisol. I think that was new. And then there was a Sir Christopher Frayling kind of showing off his Fistful of Dollars collectibles. I think that was cited on the Air release as being put out in 2010. So that might have been from a past release, maybe a past Blu-ray release right there. I don't know if that was new to the Kino Lorber, but I think the two new audio commentaries, which are on here, which this does not include any new audio commentaries. It just has those two past audio commentaries, but you have all the past stuff, all the stuff from the DVD days. A New Kind of Hero featurette is on here. You have A Few Weeks in Spain, Clint Eastwood and the Experience of Making Films. You have Three Friends, Remember Sergio Leone. You have Not Ready for Primetime, renowned filmmaker Monty Hellman discussed the television broadcast of A Fistful of Dollars, which was really cool, and I never watched it on the Kino release. But apparently they had to shoot an entirely new like intro to the movie because they were afraid American audiences would not accept the anti-hero character that Clint Eastwood was. Like they needed some kind of a motivation for why he was doing the things he was doing in the movie. So they shot this whole like setup where he's, getting out of prison and somebody gives him a job to go into this town and take out these two gangs. And you actually have Harry Dean Stanton, who's kind of the lead in that. But it's like a 5 minutes like new opening, and they don't even because they couldn't get Clint Eastwood, so they just show a guy in the poncho, and they're not showing like his face. They do some funny like close-ups that they kind of cut into. They kind of cut in and out of, which is kind of funny. But yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. And I didn't actually know about that because I didn't watch that on the Kino release. But in addition to all the archival stuff, which like I said is on here, and they're all on the Blu-ray disc, guys, which I said is region locked. You've got 5 new features. You've got When It All Started, a newly filmed interview with film historian and critic Fabio Melehi. I probably butchered that name, but he basically just kind of a retrospective, but it is brand new. Four Fingers, Four Picks, a newly filmed interview with guitarist Bruno Battisti di Amaro. Wind and Fire, a newly filmed interview with Morricone biographer Alexandro Di Rosa. A Night at the Movies, newly filmed interview with filmmaker Paolo Bianchini. So I think there's actually 6 new features here. So those are 4 new interviews, and all 4 of those interviews are in Italian. So I think that's important to note as well. So all those are in Italian. None of those are in English. Then you got a fistful of outtakes, which was not on the past Kino releases, which is basically like 36 minutes of outtakes, like behind the scenes footage, which apparently they got at like 8 hours, and they were able to just like cut it all together in this like 36-minute sequence, which is pretty cool. I sat there and watched like 10 to 15 minutes of it. It's just cool to see like all the behind the scenes stuff and to see how these actors were acting like back in 1963 or 64 when they shot this on set. That kind of stuff is pretty cool. And then you got a new visual essay about the music. So this is a new visual essay by musician and disc collector Lovely John, exploring the film's iconic score. So a lot of these features, guys, go into the score. They go into Ennio Morricone's score. So that really kind of makes up the bulk of these features right here. So look, guys, here's the thing. Like I said, the picture quality, like if you're getting this for picture quality alone, I do think the Kino Lorber is pretty good. And it's on sale right now for $19.99 on Amazon. But if you're in it for the new features, like if you want those new features, then by all means, like this is a great edition and it has all those past features. Or maybe you just don't have the Kino 4K and you want the best edition, then yeah, sure, get the Aero Video 4K. I do think it's important to note though, that you need a region-free player if you want to watch these features. Also, that most of these features are in Italian. They're not in English. All in all, guys, it's a great release. It's a phenomenal release. I just think that there are things that you should know about it to better inform your decision on whether or not you're going to purchase this, because everybody's different. Everybody values different things, and everybody makes their purchases based on different things. I got this because it's a nice, cool box set. I'll admit that right now, it's a nice, cool box set, and I wanted a really nice premium edition of just one of my favorite movies of all time. So to me, like, it didn't even matter if this had new special features. I would have got it regardless. But the fact that it does is just kind of icing on the cake. But thank you all so much for watching this review. This was very long, but I just love this movie so much. I'm very passionate about it. So thank you all for watching. I cannot wait to watch the for a few dollars more 4K, the good, the bad, the ugly. Those reviews will be coming as well as soon as I get those in. But I'll leave purchase links down below if you want to get this. The release date, I think, was May the 12th, so it is available now, but it's on Diabolic, Orbit, Aero Video. I'll leave all those purchase links down below if you do decide that you want to get this release, maybe based on the review here today. But like, comment, subscribe, turn on bell notifications for all future videos. Follow me on all my social media accounts. Those links are down below in the description, and we'll see you next time.